Why every senior, why every senior should write their life story and how to start that today. I'm 69 years young. I've learned something most people don't learn until it's too late. Your life story becomes priceless the moment you're gone and your family wishes they've asked you more. I was just at a funeral the other day and I asked about Gene to his kids. Did he leave you any notes or thoughts or anything about his life? And they said no. They said we would have loved that. And I told them what I was doing. Today I'm going to show you why why writing your life story is one of the greatest gifts that you can give to your kids and your grandkids and all those generations after that. Here's what'll happen too. They will always be aware of this, and this will be part of your family, and they too will write stories incorporating your story for their children. So you're going to start something that's going to keep going on forever and ever and ever. So, and a simple way to start today, even if you think you're not a writer, okay? If you're not a writer, okay? I am a writer, but I figured out how to do this not being a writer. And I'll share that with you a little bit in this and another video in much more detail. Heck, why don't I give it to you right now, okay? Now, let me wait till the end, okay? This way you'll keep watching the video. I'm giving away all my information. Son of a gun. I'm Greg Colosi. I've started 33 businesses. I reversed my diabetes, and I lost 65 pounds in the last 2.5 or 3 years, most of it in the last year and a half or so. And I've lived a lot of life, especially having businesses. 33. I stopped counting at 33, okay? It's in the 40s now. I was embarrassed by that, but now I'm not. Most of them were little businesses. A bunch of them went bankrupt, and we'll get into that in another video if you're interested. So now I'm helping seniors write the story of their life for their families, not to sell it, okay? According to studies, 80% of us say they've got a book inside of them, okay? But I think the biggest fear is I write this book and nobody buys it, okay? Well, now you're going to write a book for your family only, 1 copy, or 2 or 3 or 4 copies, however many kids you got, okay, and grandkids. So it's the book just for them. And if you still think you've got a story inside of you, which you probably will after we get through this process, is that you'll have motivation because you've already written 1 book. You can write another book, okay? I wrote my first book all by typing 2006, and it took me about 6 months. Now, it's on Amazon, okay? And I'll share the links with you. I've got a few books in there. I'll share the links with you in the description. But this is a book you won't buy, okay? Because it's for dry cleaners. And then I have 1 book that's not for dry cleaners, just a regular book called Quote Lessons. I couldn't find it yesterday on Amazon, but I'm sure I'll find it today, and I'll put that link in also. So I know how to write a book. I've written 4 or 5 books, okay? And the last 3 of my books I did with this new way. Maybe it's not a new way, but it's a way that I discovered that really worked easily for me, and that's going to be the way that I'm going to suggest you write your legacy life story. So let's move on. The moment you start this purpose, you'll feel more clarity, more purpose, more gratitude than you've ever felt in years. I tell you, you can probably tell from me, it has sparked me to a level I haven't been sparked since I was probably in my 50s when I started my last good-sized company, it's called Dry Cleaner Profits, which I help dry cleaners get route customers with a marketing system that I have. And I sold through the internet, okay? I sold over $2.5 million worth of my services to dry cleaners. So I kind of know what I'm doing with this. You know, you always don't know exactly what you're doing, but if you're a business owner like me, you learn as you go along, okay? And you're making mistakes most of the time. So I've made a lot of mistakes business-wise, and you're going to get the benefit of that. But still test my my idea might work for me, but not for you. So just test the idea with yourself. See if it makes sense. Never take anything that I say as gospel, okay? Take it as another way. And does it fit your criteria of how you do things? And maybe with a start of the way that I do it, you might figure out a way to do it in addition to another way, okay? And I'd love those ideas also, okay? If ideas are a dime a dozen. It's putting them to action that really works. And if I can help you with some of my ideas, if you want to help me with your ideas, I'd be more than open to that. Just go down in the comments and throw those ideas at me, and I will read. I read everything, okay? So why you should write your life story, okay? Especially now as a senior. If you're younger than 60, maybe you got a parent or a grandparent that maybe you can share with them this video on writing your life story. And maybe you'll go ahead and help them do that, okay? That's possible. So your family wants stories more than your stuff. When we're gone, our kids don't fight over the lawnmower. They say, I wish I knew more about Dad's childhood and Mom's childhood, how he started, what he believed, and what he learned. It gives your grandchildren a roadmap that they'll use forever. Your story becomes their anchor. So I've got a story about my grandfather. As you can probably tell in the way I talk, I don't use my hands that much, but I am Italian. Well, half Italian, half German. Colosi is my last name, Colosi. On the German side, my grandfather was Wilhelm Müller. So I'm half German, but I look Italian, as you probably can tell. But I've got no bling on, okay? No watches, no rings, no, what do they call that? Italian horn. I got none of that stuff, okay? So I'm not a Guido, but I'm an Italian, and I'm proud of my heritage. So my grandfather came over in 1914 on a boat by himself at the age of 16. Would you let your 16-year-old go on a boat by themselves across the ocean? I don't think so. But that's what they did back in that day, okay? 16 years old. He had 4 other siblings, so he was one of 5. He was the first one to come, and he was the youngest of everybody. He wanted to come first. He went on that boat by himself, came to Rochester, New York, where we live, and started a family. My father was born, my 2 aunts, my Aunt Sadie, my Aunt Teresa, and we've got a huge family in town. Just my mom and dad, my 4 siblings, and our kids. We've got about 40 of us, okay? My mom and dad are no longer with us, but we've got 40 just on that side. When you put together the other side, we're over 100 or 150. I've never counted that. It's a good idea. Maybe I should, okay? But all because my grandfather, at age 16, I can't imagine that doing at 16, came over by himself on the boat and went to Ellis Island, okay? And I've got the ship's manifest where his name is in there, when he came exactly. I've got all of that I got from Ancestry.com. So if you're on Ancestry, you're interested in this stuff, okay? Or if you've ever sent in any videos, like Super 8s or cassette tapes or not 8 tracks, but other forms of, taking movies, okay, VHSs, beta, and you send in a bunch of pictures to one of those companies like Legacy Box or one of the other ones, you're interested in this stuff. I think the most valuable thing is to take your story, add a bunch of pictures right to it, and then even give them a link in there to go watch the stories, okay? And I'm sure links are going to be a thing still 20, 30, 100 years from now. Maybe they'll have something else, but there will be a way to find it, I'm sure, especially with AI, okay? So it forces you to see the wins that you forgot you had in your life. When you tell your story, you remember moments long forgotten. It's healing and it's very empowering. I have not written my life story yet. In fact, this is the first video I'm doing about this. And before I got on this, I called my buddy, Billy Dangler, my best friend, and I said to Billy, I need your help. and we're starting tonight. Here are all the questions that he's going to be asking me tonight. We're going to get started, okay? I might as well tell you now, we're going to record those. And then I'm going to have them transcribed and put in a book format, add a bunch of pictures, and ooh la la, we got a book, okay? So get somebody to ask you the questions. Do that. Or we're going to offer a service later on. We're not offering it yet, but if you're interested in that, I can put you on the list. Let me know down in the comments before. Say, interested in your book process. When we say book, just put book down there, okay? B-O-O-K, and I'll get you some more information as I get it, okay? So that's how I'm going to do it. And that's how I wrote my last 3 books. And then something happened about a year ago. My cousin Frank at my brother's hunting camp, I don't hunt, but I cook for all of them, and it's fun to hang out with my cousin Frank and his son, another cousin of mine, his other son, another cousin, and some cousins from Tennessee and California come in, and I have a great time. And we were talking about it. And he said his friend wrote a book, okay? His friend wrote his life story, his legacy life story. So I called his buddy, and we talked about it. And it's taken me this long to get it going, okay? I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to rock and roll, okay? Your story becomes a bridge between generations. Your voice guides them long after you're not here. And a simple way to start: answer questions instead of writing. As I told you, it took me less than a month to write those other 3 books, okay? And now when I know what I'm doing, I'm going to have this book done. I'm going to have the verbiage, all the writing in the book done within probably 10 days. It'll probably take me another 10 days to get it all formatted, get it to the company, and get a book produced, and then maybe another week for them to mail it to me. So within a month, okay, today is August 18th. Before December 18th, I will have a book to show you on this channel. That's how you commit to goals. I just committed to all of you. Now I got to follow through. I'm going to work like hell. Can I say hell? I'm going to work like hell to make it happen, like heck to make it happen, okay? So record it. Record it on your phone. You can do that. Zoom, you can get a free version of Zoom. You can do 20 or 30 minutes on it without paying anything. So you can do a bunch of 30-minute sessions, okay, with somebody that you know. Talking is very natural for you, I'm sure, and writing feels a little bit forced, okay? Because you can't type, even if you're a really good typist, I can do 60 words a minute. I can't get it all out of my head, but speaking it, I get it all out of my head. When I send text messages on my iPhone, okay, I'm doing it voice to text. And everything I do on my iPhone, I do voice to text. With my iMac, I got to figure out how to do that. I'm sure there's a way to do that, but I haven't done it yet. It's much easier for me to do that. So speaking is very natural. Then you record it, and then you upload it to one of those, and I don't have any yet, okay? I used to use a bunch of them, one of those transcription services, and they'll kick it all out for you, and you got it, okay? Now you take it, and you massage it on your computer. You take the doc file, okay? Or if you got a Mac, the Pages file. And now you just clean it all up and do it your edit, okay? That's the way you write a book. That's the way I wrote my last 3 books. And I kicked those suckers out quick, okay? Very, very quick. So it turns your spoken story into text. I personally clean it up while keeping your voice. Oh, no. That's if I do it myself, okay? Add pictures, okay? Childhood, first home, wedding, kids, grandkids. This is your book. Make it priceless, okay? This is a real book for your family, for generations. And you will prompt your family members to continue this going. For example, my grandfather and grandmother, the grandfather from Germany, used to tomatoes, what do you call it? Canned tomatoes, okay? And I did it with them. I helped out. I was really little. I don't remember much. But as of about 15, 20 years ago, I said, heck, that's what my grandfather and grandmother were doing, so I started doing it, Okay, so that's a tradition that I kept going. 3 years ago, I was 65 pounds heavier than I am now. And about 3 years ago, so I was 65 pounds heavier 3 years ago, so I was still 60 pounds heavier. Oh, it's 3 years ago. That's right. Okay, so I get done the first round of the year, and I walk 18 holes carrying my bag, playing with my brother, Mark, and my second best friend, Johnny B. And after I got done, and I could hardly make the last few holes, my feet were in such pain. I mean, they were like, I could feel my heart beating in my feet. That's how much pain there was, and I was exhausted. After that, I decided I've got to do something. So the pain in my feet, I had this, the bottom of my feet felt like I was walking on hot sand all the time. So I went to YouTube University, which you're on right now, which is a great source. You got to weed through a couple of things, but it's a great source to find out things. And I found out that I had neuropathy. And then once I found I had neuropathy, I went through all the things. And I found out that it's because of inflammation in my body. And at the same time, I had diabetes. My A1C was 10.1. If you know anything about diabetes, you know that is really, really high, okay? Normal is 5, 6, or less. So because of that, that has something to do with my neuropathy. So I had to find a way to lose or get rid of all the sugar in my body. And I found out that sugar comes from sugar, sweets, carbs like bread or pasta, all those kinds of things. And the biggest robber was ultra-processed foods, Doritos, Cheez-Its. I'm naming things that I used to love. I don't eat them anymore, but I did. So not immediately, but shortly after that, I found something else. The keto diet, where you allow yourself only 50 carbs a day. Well, I went on keto and allowed myself no carbs a day. So I basically ate meat. And I did that. I've been doing that now for the last 3 years or so. And I'm proud to say my A1C is now 5.3, and I'm 65 pounds lighter than I was 3 years ago. And I also, for my neuropathy, at the same time, took alpha-lipoic acid. By the way, I'm not a doctor, okay? So this is for information purposes. You go do your own research, okay? If you can find a doctor, which I have not, find a local doctor that supports you eating this way with no carbs whatsoever or minimal carbs, grab onto them, okay? For another video, I'll tell the story about my doctor who wasn't too happy that I went on the carnivore diet and lowered my A1C. It was 5.6 then, and now it's 5.3. So I took alpha-lipoic acid and B-complex, and that helped also. And today, my neuropathy is virtually gone, okay? I feel it once in a while. If I have a light beer or two, sometimes I can feel it in my feet. If I slip, and I haven't in a year or so, eat a bunch of potatoes, I can feel it in my feet. That's kind of the way it happens with me, okay? So anyway, I feel better at 69 than I did at 39, as you can tell. I've got lots of energy, okay? I sleep 7 hours a night, not straight through. I'm working on that right now, okay? And I feel wonderful. And at 69, I'm starting a new business, okay? Which hopefully you'll be a part of. Well, you are right now, okay? You're watching this video. If you're over 60, even over 70, or you know somebody that's close to you, and you've ever thought, I should write my life story, start today, okay? Make a list of questions, and I will have that list available later on. I don't have it right now. It might be in here. Look in the notes below. What do they call that? Anyway, look below, and you might find a link to that, but I don't have them right now, but I will come up with them, okay? So you should write your story by starting today, maybe with a friend, okay? You ask me the questions, I'll ask you the questions. And if it becomes too difficult or too hard, wait and I'll have a program to help you all do that, okay? So let's write your story together. Your family will thank you, and they'll thank you forever after you're long gone. If you want help, subscribe, okay? And like this video, and tell me what's going on in your life down below as a senior, okay? Thanks, and make it a great day. Bye. Thanks for my first video on this. I appreciate you listening. Bye-bye.